has a rare elite ability to pull a team out and right the ship. And when you have that, I think it's God-given, and you just either have it or don't, and he has that. And that's one of the many qualities I think makes him an elite coach.
That was Brad Holmes talking about Dan Campbell, and just we don't have to spend a ton of time on this, guys, but can you just go back to 1-6 and some of the conversations we were having about Dan Campbell? I mean, idiot, is he going to make it through the season? Can you believe it? Now he's just one of the elite coaches in the NFL. I mean, I don't want to go that far, but
he's one of the better coaches in the NFL.
Seriously.
Yeah, he's one of the better coaches. I mean, you look what he did, from the beginning of the season, 1-6 to how they finished 8-2. Just a tremendous turnaround. You got the team to buy into him. He has the offensive coordinator right. Defensive coordinator seems to be right, but we know that he needs more players, so I'm going to give Aaron Glenn the benefit of the doubt and say that he is the right guy for the job. They just needs to get more players, which this draft and this free agency is going to present. Dan Campbell has done a tremendous job. I think that when you can keep your identity in place, you talk about Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh's identity is all over Michigan. It's what he started with. It's what he's wanted to be. It's his identity at Stanford. It's his identity with the San Francisco 49ers. It's the identity that his former coach and the guy he aspires to be, Bo Schembechler, it's what he put in place. Same thing with Dan Campbell. He said we want guys to fight, we want guys to carry, we want guys to play as a team, we want guys to brothers, we want guys that are accountable. We want guys that want to be here. Well, everything that he wants is what the Detroit Lions have shown us in the second half of the season. So hats off to Dan Campbell moving into his third year. I cannot say that he won't be the odds-on favorite to be coach of the year next year.
No doubt. Maz, I know you're a big Dan Campbell guy.
You know it. I've stuck with him since day one. He's a leader of men. Now, when these teams, and there's 5 jobs open now, there might be a couple of more on the way. You never know who's going to get fired here in the next couple of weeks. I will tell you this. When you do your hiring, and everyone's talking about hiring our offensive coordinator and Ben Johnson, other offensive coordinator. How about DeMeco Ryan, defensive coordinator in San Francisco? All these coordinators. Eric Bieniemy, they've been talking about him for 5 years. A bunch of people. But you want to hire a leader. Dan Campbell was the leader.
Yeah.
He wasn't a coordinator.
Leader of men.
He's a leader. You want to follow that guy. Bill Parcells. You want to follow these guys. That's the number one take I get out of Dan Campbell. Everything else is gravy. You hire the best people under you, which he's done, and everything has worked out this year, except they didn't make it in the playoffs.
They put themselves too far behind the 8 ball. Yeah. And you put yourself too far behind the 8 ball, and it's a defense, and that's part of that defense is what we talked about going into the season. 3-13-1. You ran it back with those same guys. It's one of those give and take type deals where you wanted him not to spend money. When I say him, I'm talking about Brad Holmes. You want Brad Holmes not to spend money. What was going to happen is the same defense was very, very green and still weren't good. And in the first half of the season, that's what had to happen with that defense. They got better as the season went on, and next year they'll be a lot better. So Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn will get the defense they need next year.
Well, if you believe history, the Lions will get better and maybe be one of the teams that makes the playoffs next year. How about this stat? This is from the NFL on Fox. For the 33rd straight year. That's incredible. What a league. What a league. For the 33rd straight year, 4+ non-playoff teams from a year prior made the playoffs.
6 of them this year.
6 playoff teams that did not make it the previous season. Is there a better league in the world than this because of this?
It's awesome.
That is incredible. The Giants, Vikings, Jags, Ravens, Dolphins, and Chargers did not make the playoffs last year. They made the playoffs this year. So, Fletch, give me some, or JB, give me some music here. You got something to say here, Bray?
Yeah, I was going to say, even in my over-analytical mind, I would say 3 of those teams should have made the playoffs last year, but the fact that there's even 3 still is an amazing feat.
So if history repeats itself, and there are 4+ teams next year that makes the playoffs, and I apologize for this. I probably should have put a graphic together with the teams that did not make the playoffs, but I'm just going to read them for you, okay?
Okay.
Detroit Pittsburgh, Washington, New England, Green Bay, the Jets, Titans, Panthers, Browns, Saints, Falcons, Raiders, Broncos, Rams, Colts, Cardinals, Texans, and Bears. I've got 4 teams written here. Would you like me to go first?
You name it. You got
My 4 teams, Braylon, that are going to make the playoffs in 2023. The Lions, the Commanders, the Broncos, and your Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson is going to come back and play.
I can name 4 off the top.
Okay.
And I don't even have to look at the list. 1 is Detroit Lions, 2 Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's a good one.
They're going to make it. Commanders out. They have no quarterback.
Sam Howell.
You know what? That NFC was. I'd say I like the Broncos.
Yeah.
You know I'm a Russell guy. So
I know you're a Russell guy.
So I like the Broncos in there, the Steelers in there, the Detroit Lions in there, and there's somebody that should have made it this year that's not in it. Oh, the Jets.
Yeah.
The New York Jets.
Jets are quarterback away.
The New York Jets. The only sketchy thing about the Jets, if we jump on them real quick, everybody's talking about who's going there. Is it Derek Carr? Is this? By the way, Derek Carr, I would love to have Derek Carr, but that's neither here nor there.
Not me.
He'll do the same thing Matt Stafford did if you put him in the right system.
I don't know about that.
What do you mean you don't know about that?
That's just my opinion.
He could do the same thing Matt Stafford did if you put him in the right
I watched him this
situation.
year, and he didn't know what the hell he was doing.
That's Josh McDaniels.
Who does he know what the hell to do? The offensive coordinator sucks. Herman Renfro missed 9 games. Darren Waller missed 9 games. Who's he going to throw the ball to? If you got Devontae Adams getting triple coverage and you got Josh Jacobs, that's all you had. That's all you had for the better part.
You got a good point there.
But with the Jets, if I'm a quarterback, that's a sketchy situation because they fired Mike LaFleur, Matt's brother. They fired him and it wasn't his fault. Like, he has no quarterback. He played with 4 different quarterbacks this year. Breece Hall, who's the best player on offense, got hurt this year. Garrett Wilson didn't show up till week 15. If I'm a quarterback, do I want to go to a team that fired that offensive coordinator? Which means now you're coming in with a brand new coordinator and the guy that has a quick switch and Robert Saleh and Joe Judge. I don't know if I'm taking that job if I'm a quarterback.
Maz?
I'm going to start with the AFC East.
Okay.
Here's my teams. I don't want them to be in there, but I'll pick the Patriots. The Jets have an outside chance. Go to the Central, which is the North. The Steelers. The Browns have an outside chance. In the South, Titans need a quarterback. They can make it. The Colts can have a complete turnaround. And they were one of the worst teams. They dumped this year. Remember, they were going to be a playoff team this year. So I like the Colts a little bit. If you go to the West, the Raiders with the right quarterback.
That's what Fletch and JB said. They texted it to me. You guys can open it. Feel free, man. It's a family show.
All right,
jump in. They said the Raiders with Tom Brady.
NFC East, I got the Commanders. NFC North, I got the Lions, possibly the Packers if Aaron Rodgers stays. In the South, I don't like anybody. Maybe the Saints can wake up. Maybe the Falcons, Carolina, I don't know. And in the West, nobody that didn't make it will make it. So I gave you 5.
Yeah. Arizona's in a tough spot. Rams are in a tough spot. I think Seattle gets worse next year, not better for whatever reason. Even though you look at Seattle, man, did Seattle screw the Lions this year or what? Not only did Seattle steal the Lions' playoff spot.
They beat them.
Well, they beat them, but they stole the playoff spot.
Yes.
If you look at the draft right now, Seattle's got the 5th pick and Detroit's got the 6th pick because the Seattle won the tiebreaker. Denver wins the tiebreaker over the Rams for being worse.
Isn't that something?
How bad is that? I hate Seattle.
That does suck.
What did Detroit do to Seattle? That's what I like.
So, Jeremy,
you stole my playoff spot and my draft choice.
Man,
all right, Jeremy, go ahead. Give us your teams.
So I'm on the same boat as you guys. Give me the Lions, the Jets, the Steelers, and then the Raiders, as me and Fletch were texting back and forth.
Yeah, Raiders is a good one.
Fletch, you like the Raiders.
I only like the Raiders if they get Tom Brady.
Yeah. What about Jimmy Garoppolo there for the Raiders? I'm just trying.
Or the Jets.
I mean, Josh McDaniels, the Raiders and Patriots. You know, Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels. Yeah. It feels like they have to have somebody in that New England Patriot way situation, and it's either Brady or Garoppolo. in Las Vegas.
It's so funny because Jimmy Garoppolo nor Derek Carr might have to switch their houses. Like, if I'm being honest, if you're the 49ers, would you not take a look at Derek Carr?
I don't think you have to pay a quarterback. I think, and we'll find out in the playoffs, but you've got two guys on a
Brock
rookie
Purdy's
deal.
nice. Like, I like Brock Purdy. I told you, like, I like Brock Purdy, but when you put him in a situation like that where you don't have to muck it up, like, especially coming out of one situation, I think Derek Carr would be perfect a lot of places, but I think he'd be perfect for the 49ers.
It sounds good.
He's not going to mess it up. Like, this is a dude that has consistency on defense. Now you have consistency on offense. You got a tight end. You got a running back, 3 wide receivers. You're not going to mess that up. Like, I think it's a good situation for him, especially after coming from a place where you saw, like, everything was on you. Like, now you're in a spot where you don't have to. But anyway, Jimmy Garoppolo's the Raiders. I don't know. There's something about the Raiders, man. Like, they're kind of like the Chargers where they get injured a lot. It's a lot of injuries. There's always something going on. Like, it's just always something going on with the Raiders that seems to be a little bit more than a quarterback can overcome. Derek Carr wasn't the best quarterback out there, but Jesus couldn't overcome what he had to overcome.
We've thrown just about every team in the National Football League out in this segment. You know who we didn't throw out there? The Chicago Bears.
Right.
The Chicago Bears were, I think, at the start of the season, really our envy. I mean, they started out the year 2-2. They started out 2-1, 2-2, and then obviously they only won one game after the first month of the season. But what in the world has happened in Chicago? I mean, Justin Fields is a really nice player who really didn't have anybody to throw to.